So we're gonna go over to Maymare and look at the head down below there, and look at the shower. Basically the shower surround. Jeff really likes that design, so we're gonna take some of that design and bring it over to Coastal Queen.
We're using other boats in our fleet to help us mock up the showers in both of the heads up in the forward accommodation space.
Here we are in the head on Maymare. We're looking at this shower surround. Jeff really likes this design. The cool thing about this shower surround is when it's not in use, the curtain's going to be pulled back and this whole space will still be left open, which is a great way of keeping a small space open rather than closing it off with a permanent shower surround, with a glass door or whatever.
It's difficult anytime you're putting a shower in a compact space, especially with the curve of the hull and other cabins that are encroaching on that. Coastal Queen is difficult in their own right because there's only a certain amount of space down below in that forward area that is full height, full standing height. The rest of it is down underneath the deck. So the shower, where you have to stand up, they have to go in very specific places.
Which is no big deal.
I just want to try to, can you hold your foot on that there on the bottom? When you're here, if you've got more room this way, that works as well. Again, we can cheat here. This is this is the main part where you're standing. We've got this built in here. I think you could bring this over just an inch. So why don't you put it in, bring it over an inch so it's like here, okay, and pop it in, and then, maybe we're not making the full curve yet or something until these windows show up, and this would be the first one that we could work on. Okay. Try to establish. These things moved around in different times. At one point, I think if you look at the old photos, there was 2 windows on this side of the house.
I'm trying to reconcile the original build of the boat through the photographs that we have with a couple of texts that we use quite a lot. In this case, this is Boat Building by Howard Chappell. I've been using Larry Tuning's book, Chesapeake Bay Buy Boats, quite a lot of late too. A lot of good information, a lot of anecdotal information. Some of these pictures go back 75, 80 years, and we can look at the way that a hatch is constructed, for example, or what the eyebrow on a pilot house looks like.
We have some trim that we're going to put around this cargo hold top. We're still debating on what size to do it. The eyebrow around the top of the pilot house. We were going to maybe copy that, but it might be just a little too big, so we're going to scale it down.
The eyebrow around the pilot house is quite large. It's about 4 inches across, and we are looking to recreate that detail along the cabin trunk. An eyebrow is just a little piece of wood that sticks proud of the side of the cabin of a boat. In this case, this is in Chappell's Boat Building, but this would be considered an eyebrow on the side of a cabin trunk. And basically what it's there for is not only aesthetics, but it's also there to redirect any fresh water that happens to end up on the deck, whether it's rain or dew or what have you. The water is going to come down the camber of the deck, it's going to roll around here, and then it's going to stop right there, and it's going to drip down outside of all of this instead of running down in here and causing all kinds of trouble.
Chris Pryor came in, he did the fiberglass work, and the reason why you see all this filler that comes from the end of the glass over here, because this glass is actually higher level than this deck. So we had to ferret into one to make it look like it's all one level. So we mixed the all fair filler, which is the same stuff we use on the hull, and it's a epoxy-based fairing compound. Really good stuff. So we were able to mix it in larger batches to do these big fills. Because if we use a regular epoxy filler, it gets hot and it hardens before you can spread it all around.
We're on top of the boat here where the mizzen mast is going to come through. and we're building a sort of mast step that's gonna sit, even though the mast goes through to the next deck, we wanna make sure the deck is watertight. So we're building this plate that's going to have a fiberglass pipe welded to it. At some point, there's pictures of it. They had a helicopter land back here, which is insane.
So this is our deck box that we've built out of wood. This whole box is all a function of hiding these air intake fans that are supplying fresh air into the engine room for the engines and generators to function properly, and provides a nice little seat for this outside this cabin back here too. With the boat, there's a lot of camber, which is uneven. It's not evenly or symmetrically curved this way, but then there's also a lot of shear back here. So I think the legs are, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. The aft ones are shorter than the front ones by a significant amount, just to make it level on the top, so it's comfortable to sit on and not like feel like you're falling out of it. But then also had to sort of look the same as, the face of this should be sort of parallel with the back of the house, and then this should be about the same as the level of the bed in there. So it should all look right. That was my biggest thing, because then, these heights, because the camber's off, the height of the rail off the deck is not the same either. So there was not a lot to measure from. Yeah. Well, this was a fishing boat. This wasn't a yacht. So the building standard was very much function over form. So the boat is cambered to shed water off the deck. They didn't much care if it was super even or not.
Just about every boat on Earth has camber, and camber is basically just shape to a boat. I mean, every road in America has it too, for the same exact reason. And it's got a crown, and that is simply to shed water to the sides so it doesn't pool up and cause problems. This is a fairly subtle camber because she's a deck-loaded boat. You can't have very severe angles out towards the edges because stuff starts to fall overboard. But in Nordic countries, they don't have to worry so much about rain as ice and snow. So they've got camber on their decks that is literally like this. So it'll shed the ice and not pile up on the boat and sink it.
The rod is here. We've got a welded flange stopper, and this is welded to the bracket. So we have this copper ball, which is traditional for Chesapeake Bay buy boats, and I suspect its primary function is to keep the birds from landing on top and pooping on the operators. I'll put it in here so it won't fall out. So this way, we just have a cotter pin. It keeps it in. Bird lands on, they can spin around, do whatever they want. And this pulls out very easily and safely. And then you still have access to the lopos. Everything is watertight with watertight fittings in here. And you can get to everything, but it leaves it fairly clean.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Oh, all right, we can do that.
For tall people.